business principles, the Smart Chiropractor Show. It's February 1st, 2022. Jason, we're going to talk about the importance of diversifying your revenue and income this year. This is a passion of yours and mine, and this segment is brought to you by the Payday Practice. That's an upcoming book by Jason and myself. We are putting some finishing touches on. You're going to see it this year. We have some pre-release versions coming up soon, but this is about how you can generate monthly recurring revenue that meets or exceeds your monthly expenses. And your practice changes when that happens. Jason, when we talk about diversifying revenue streams, this sounds like you have to go to Wharton School of Business here. How do you break this down in a way that docs out there can think about and then can start applying in their practice?
Well, I don't like to be negative or talk negative or, I like to be an optimist and talk about the bright side of things. But I want to acknowledge a reality in our profession. And that is our profession has been taught that the way we do business, the way we run our practice is on a fee-for-service transactional basis, right? You come in, you lay down, I provide service, either you pay me or your insurance company pays me. Thank you very much. And if I do more of it, I provide more value, I provide more service, I collect more revenue, I collect more income. That sounds like most practices today. And most of you would go, well, of course, that's obvious. That's the way it is. The challenge with that is that if you've been in practice for a period of time, you notice that you're on somewhat of a treadmill, and it's really difficult to make any forward momentum, forward progress. And what typically happens is many chiropractors, including myself for years, find yourself getting frustrated that every single month, when it comes to the first day of the month, most of us have the same issue. Time for rent, time for mortgage, time for payroll, time for expenses. Many expenses are on the first of the month. And the reality is, if you're doing things on a transactional basis, and the pandemic is a great example of what kind of happens between these two groups, and we've seen the data and the research of those doctors who have strictly transactional fee-for-service type practices compared to those practices that have some sort of membership or subscription. In other words, some sort of way of generating monthly recurring revenue. And those chiropractors that are doing that now oftentimes will say, oh, I do that. I have membership plans or monthly plans. A lot of chiropractors will say, I get paid X amount of dollars per month, and you provide whatever services in exchange for that monthly fee. Now, some of you are doing it right. Most of you are doing it, when I say wrong, I'm going to say in a way that isn't getting you paid to the degree that you should. And I was guilty of that for years. My heart is bigger than my wallet. And so I would be willing to give away whatever it takes, because what's the big deal? It's my two hands, it's my table, it's a few moments. They need it. The more help they get, the more they should theoretically be talking about me and referring to me. All that makes perfect sense, except it doesn't often work that way in the long term. And so if you're giving away care for monthly fees in order to lower your fee to make it affordable, I absolutely commend you on the intention, but I want to make sure that you're paying attention to the opportunity and not giving it all away. And I'm not against giving things away. There are times and places where people deserve it, and it's appropriate. Pro bono care is absolutely an appropriate thing if you're doing it consciously and you're doing it in a way that you do it in a limited basis, unless you're independently wealthy and can afford to pay all your bills, and you're not going to generate resentment for people getting your care and you not getting paid. If that's not you and you can afford to give it away, great. That's on you. That's up to you. That's a wonderful way of being generous. But if you've got bills to pay and you've got financial responsibilities and you've got people counting on you for their paychecks and or keep a roof over their head and food in their mouth, then you got to think about things a little bit differently. And it's a long way of introducing the concept of the payday practice. And the payday practice is specifically designed to turn the first day of every month from, oh man, are we back to zero again? We just broke a record last month. We did terrific. And here we are back to big fat zero in collections, hoping we're going to be able to climb the mountain of finances again this month so that you have more money than you do expenses coming in. And for many of you, that's still very questionable. And that's where financial stress seeps in and ends up taking over much of our lives. We get down on ourselves. We get down on the choices. Did I make the right choice to be in the right profession? Am I doing this right? Why can't I provide for my family the way they expect me to and should expect me to? And then you get resentment from family members. Why can't we go on vacation? How come you can't pay for the wedding I've always dreamed of? On and on and on and on. And practice becomes financially frustrating. And when you're financially frustrated, I'll bet you're probably not delivering your best care. You're probably not as energetic and attractive as you probably would be if you were able to practice under these circumstances. Imagine for a moment that if the first day of every month was, oh man, back to zero, and you turned the first day of every month into payday, meaning, what would your life be like? What would your practice be like? What would your feelings be like? What would your relationships be like if you knew that every first day of every month was payday? And payday means that you're able to generate enough money on the first to cover all your monthly recurring expenses. You know the money you have to pay this month, next month, the month after that, even the month after that. You know your financial responsibilities. You could actually calculate them if I asked you to. And you could come up with a number that we call your MVMI, your minimum viable monthly income. The least amount of money you must make to not feel financially stressed out. Maybe that starts to seep over into starting to feel free. Free enough to be able to accept patients you want to accept and not accept patients who don't want to follow your recommendations the way you recommend them. Free enough to be able to create a schedule that works for you and your lifestyle. Free enough to be able to know that you're going to be able to cover your expenses with confidence, not with stress. And that's what this recurring revenue conversation is all about. That's what the Payday Practice is all about. And it starts with making a mental shift from the old way of just transactional, you lay down, you pay me, or the insurance company pays me, even worse, to what do I need to build? What do I need to set up? How do I install a system so that moving forward, I can generate monthly recurring revenue that starts to, I'm not saying day one, day two, but over time, you're able to build enough monthly recurring revenue to meet your monthly recurring expenses. That is our goal for you in 2022 and beyond, is to get rid of the financial stress and bring in the financial freedom that comes along with having the certainty, the confidence, the joy of knowing you're going to be able to cover your expenses each and every month, I'll dare say automatically. That's what the Payday Practice is all about, Jeff. We're talking about recurring revenue. You and I have been working on this book and now a training that'll be out very soon to teach this exact concept. What did I miss, and what are some of your favorite parts about really bringing this idea to the profession that we've seen in many tech companies, a lot of the unicorn businesses, meaning businesses that are worth $1 billion, with $1 billion or more, sometimes started months ago, let alone years ago, certainly not even decades. They're oftentimes taking over the incumbent giant companies because they follow this model of recurring revenue on a regular monthly or even annual basis. What are your thoughts on that, Jeff?
It's time for chiropractors to step into the game. And what I mean by that is so many of us are caregivers by nature. We love delivering the care hands-on in our practice and a fee-for-service model, basically. And that's awesome. It's fantastic. However, there has to be, I'm going to encourage docs out there and continually encourage, think about what are those revenue lines that can attach into your practice, your business, that make sense, that you're passionate about, that generate recurring revenue while delivering higher value to your patients. In dental, they might have toothpaste and toothbrushes, and almost every other, in veterinary, they have so many things as well. Yet in chiropractic, we rarely see this implemented at any level. And docs, and they think about a supplement, they think about transactionally selling it at their front desk. And quite frankly, we know the stats on this type of stuff. 95% of the time, that just doesn't work. But 5% of the docs get super into it. They get super passionate. They're able to make those transactional sales day in and day out, and they're able to be very, very successful. Yet most docs feel like just the time it just doesn't work out ultimately the way that they would like it to. So the key part about that is not having to resell something all the time. The benefits of having drop shipping, about having recurring revenue, regardless of what type of product it is that it enables you to be free of inventory. It enables you to be free of that customer service. It enables you to be free of feeling like you're selling all the time. This is really the complete opposite. This is about highlighting some of your favorite items. What are those things that you are passionate about? And making it easy for, this is why we built the Smart Care store system, making it easy for your patients, your clients, the individuals who come into your practice to hop on, subscribe and save, and have it come to their door. And technologically, that's been super challenging. That's why it's taken us over a year to really build our Smart Care store system that we launched exclusively for Smart Chiropractor members. But this is going to be something you're going to see a lot of momentum around. And if it's a concept that scares you a little bit, if it's a concept that sounds a little unfamiliar, now's the right time to start thinking about it. And that's really the first step. And that's business principles. We're going to spend a lot of time diving into this throughout the year, because the first step is to just kind of get your head around it. Because I know there are so many docs who, they see subscription services, they look at their business, and there's like, golly, there's just about nothing in common here. And the truth is, that's not true. And here's my example of that. It's one I used before, and it's one I'll continue to use. A patient comes in to see me. They ask me, what's my favorite blank? Insert anything for blank. Pillow, orthotic, tape, supplement, vitamin D, multivitamin, whatever it might be. I spend 10 minutes poorly describing it, of how they can purchase it on Amazon. They go home, bang their head against the wall, trying to figure out which one it is out of a list of a bazillion. They end up coming back in, showcasing, look what I bought, which is the wrong thing. And the process starts all over again. What a wonderful way to have a patient-centric model of care. I think there's a better way, and that's enabling you to have the simple conversation. What do I like about this? Well, great question, Nancy. Why don't you hop over to my online store where you can have it drop shipped directly to your door? As a matter of fact, Jack at the front desk can give you the QR code. You can hop onto the store before you walk out the front door. Making things easy for your patients, saving you time. And by the way, there's a side effect here of creating a little bit of additional revenue that can become substantial over time for you and your practice. So, Jason, those are my thoughts on it. I'm gonna kick it back over to you for some closing thoughts. It can be around business principles or anything that we talked about on today's show.
Well, one of the things I can hear some of you saying all kinds of things. I hear what you're thinking. I know it. I get it. Supplements. I'm a chiropractor, or whatever excuses, resistance, negativity, buts, but what we're going to say is there is a model for everyone. So if you are a principled chiropractor that only wants to provide adjustments, that's it. You don't want to talk any of that stuff. I understand. And there's a model for you where you can create a proactive membership for people in your practice to come on in and pay you monthly for care, whether they have symptoms or not. That's the thing, is how do you position what your membership is so that there is continuity, people stay with it. That's the art of communication that we can help you with. But we want to let you know there is a model for everyone. So if you like the idea of, well, wait a minute, you mean I could generate recurring revenue by better serving the people who are already asking me these questions, and in fact sort of count on me for these things as their health expert? I could actually better serve them without any work on my part, and I don't have to deal with sales tax and ordering, shipping, and pilferage, which is people stealing, and back and returns and customer service and all the hassle, the real legitimate hassle, which is why very few of you are currently doing any kind of e-commerce and so on. Is it work? It's a hassle. If you say to yourself, am I better off providing another adjustment or selling a bottle of supplements? The way most docs are doing it now, you're better off providing another adjustment. So it's only when the technology and the systems and the automated marketing and the customer service can be outsourced, and all of that is done for you in a very smart, intelligent way, that all of a sudden it starts making a lot of, I want to say sense, and I mean dollars, that you can set it and forget it. You've got hundreds, maybe even thousands of people on your email list who come to see you on a regular basis, who look to you as their health authority, their health influencer, their health expert. They're scrolling through Instagram and TikTok looking for somebody to say, here's the way to do it. That's what's going on out there if you're not paying attention. But shouldn't that be you for your people? Do you really want to let your clients, your patients, and all the people you've ever seen before? Don't forget, that's our philosophy here, is your best next new patient is keeping your current people. If you increased the retention, if you had more people stay longer, there's a really good chance, if you do the math, you don't need as many new patients as you think you do. So it's a mathematical formula. You all have a certain capacity. How are you going to fill up the capacity of your time? You can offer more chiropractic care on a recurring monthly basis. We'll teach you how to do it. You can outsource the whole concept to the Smart Care store and the Basis Health supplements so that you don't even have to touch the product. You don't have to ship it. You don't have to inventory it. You don't have to sales tax any of that stuff. It's all handled for you. And then the third option is you see many of these membership programs. Learn how to get rid of your pain. Learn how to be healthier. The 7 steps to fill in the blank. If you're a chiropractor, you're an expert. The only question is, what do you want to be known as an expert in? Because you've got choices. You can talk about pain. You can talk about performance. You could talk about any specialties that you enjoy and like. You can figure out what your audience of people who you already work with want to learn most, and put together an online program that people subscribe to on a monthly basis and start generating monthly recurring revenue that meets your monthly recurring expenses. We're not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. If whatever you're doing now that's working for you, keep on doing it. This is not a complete 100% change in your business model. This is an additional way. Keep doing what's working. You don't have to change anything. It's simply understanding that the absolute best way to become better at what you do now is to get rid of the financial stress that hinders you from being your best. And the best way to get rid of your financial stress is to have the confidence you can handle your financial expenses. And if you could wave a magic wand, if you could rub your crystal ball or Aladdin's lamp and have the wishes you want, most of us would wish for financial security. And most chiropractors, our belief is, most chiropractors are not looking to be gazillionaires. Most chiropractors are not looking to be ultra wealthy. You're not looking to make gazillions of dollars. Sure, it would be nice if you win the lottery. I'm saying in terms of your practice, I'm betting that if your primary goal is to be super wealthy, you probably didn't choose to become a service provider of any kind, especially a chiropractor. That's not the business model to become super wealthy. What I find is that most service professionals, including chiropractors, love serving. You love helping people. You love giving people your knowledge, your expertise, and your skill set. And the best way for you to be of best value for them is to get the financial stress out of the way. And this is the best way to do it. Make sure you can generate monthly recurring revenue that meets your monthly recurring expenses. We call it the Payday Practice. Keep your eyes out, learn more, keep joining in, ask questions, lean in, but that's where we're going in 2022 and beyond. Because as Jeff and I, as co-creators of the Smart Chiropractor, think about the smartest idea that we can bring to this profession that's not there yet, this is that idea. Hopefully you'll like it. Hopefully you'll lean in, join us, and build your payday practice for your financial security, for your family's benefit, and absolutely for the people in your community's benefit. Because when you can afford to tell the truth, and when you stop saying what people need to hear because that's what's going to get them to spend the money, when you start sharing what is actually authentically true for you, you'll be amazed at how your practice grows.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor. We are posting videos on how you can market your chiropractic practice in a way that teach and invites consistently. We have found that is the magic formula to big time growth. So if you like this video, be sure to comment down below, smash that subscribe button, or visit us at thesmartchiropractor.com.